Hello, everyone. It's Dakota from Bonkers Network, the CEO of the company, for those of you who apparently still haven't gotten the memo. I wanted to hop on here today because it's been brought to my attention that some of you have been getting a little confused about how certain things with the shows work. You see, Chris and I, we did start this as kind of a fun little project, but now to become an official company where I am legally responsible. Now, the confusion seems to be with how we run some of our shows, because sometimes the methods we use don't exactly seem very truthful. You know what I mean? And it seems a couple people have been getting a little frustrated. I wanted to come on here to make this kind of a bitch out broadcast, but I think I'm going to do one better. I'm going to run through how these episodes usually work. This isn't our usual programming, but this is actually something I wanted to expand into to try to help people get into who may be interested in getting into similar projects. So here's what we're going to do. So Chris is actually the one who notified me of this the other day. He started receiving messages from somebody, hey, broken, at 5 o'clock in the morning his time. He's GMT, so for me, I'm Mountain Time. That's about 10 o'clock at night. And this person seemed to believe that they were being ignored. Now, as much as I want to apologize for the fact that if they seemed like they were being ignored, I'm not going to. Because they were complaining that nobody was responding to them to a rerun broadcast. Now, there's where some of the confusion comes in. Because how we distribute the videos to make it easier, not eat up the internet as much, it kind of makes it look like a pre-recorded video is live, but not actually. Now, some of you try to say, oh, you should type it in the description. Well, you've also shown that you won't read. So instead of going into this whole little tirade, like I said, I wanted to try to elaborate on how we do things. This is something I wanted to do to utilize our book distributor to put out handy little guides so that if anybody you want to do a similar show to ours, you can. And it's actually relatively low cost, which is something to consider, especially with everything going on in the world nowadays. Some people, right? So, here's where the confusion starts. Now, you may be wondering why the hell I have a piece of cardboard. Because I needed something to draw you some people a picture, okay? A lot of our main shows are utilize StreamYard. This is where we film the live shows. This is where we try to encourage people to come watch us so that way they can interact, make the show a lot more fun. I'm currently using our Melon account just because it hits more profiles at once, but StreamYard works a little bit better with what we have in mind. So with StreamYard, we film here. Then it goes out to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you tweet face. Thinking, hello. Hello, Drew, hello. Twitter, etc. The live shows get streamed out to 8 different channels when they're initially filmed. That's YouTube, Facebook, Parapost, Twitter, etc. After that is done, we take the audio from the recording and put it into the podcast. All right. How we do that? We use 4 different channels, 2 of which are anchor profiles. We had to create a secondary one because, well, when Chris and I started this little venture, we basically slapped all of our resources together, and there were some issues with getting everything converted, so we had to create some backup profiles, which is where the archives comes in. We send out to 4 audio podcast distributors. Then it sends it out to the rest of the 55 plus. And that number is about to grow here soon. Here's the kicker with some of these. Now, we have a live chat here going right now through Melon. It doesn't show all the chat messages. Say we have accounts on websites like DLive. There's another one called Trovo. We can send the video out. Sounds confusing, Dakota, as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah, Drew, there's a lot of steps. I'm trying to explain this because we received some complaints about the replays. Since sometimes not everybody's available, because life happens. Yeah, I know we kind of jump it around, but this is also something else I wanted to point out. Sometimes subject material makes it so you have to focus on what you're doing and technically ignore chat. Because you get distracted, it throws you off course, things like that. Let's see. Situations like that. It's not as fully automated as I would like it to be. Trust me, I'm looking into it because it is a pain in the ass some days. Say like Drew, for example. Drew here does have a live that's redistributed through us coming up later tonight. Because it is a pre-recorded session, it doesn't necessarily say as such. It is a pre-recorded session. She may pop in if she's available, but it's also like 1 o'clock in the morning when it's being sent out for her on the video side. Now, naturally, Drew, if I'm not mistaken, just started a new job not too long ago. She also has kids to take care of. Myself, I just found out that I may have to move here soon. And I'm also trying to either find a owner or maybe find a rehomer, I don't know, for a 16-toed cat that showed up my house the other day. Real sweet cat. And so far the only hit as far as something to actually do with the cat, besides give a little heads up to maybe make her a little shelter outside so she can keep somewhat out of the elements, was someone who said I should shoot her. Yeah, not exactly happy about that. But back to what I was saying. I'm saying this right now because Chris was upset. He wanted to utilize some of our time to address this on the Saturday show. And here's another thing I want to show. While this is also being sent out to Facebook, sometimes with these streaming platforms, whether you're using StreamYard, Melon, I don't know if Restream's another popular one. If that has an issue with it, I'm not all that experienced with it. Sometimes it just does not even show your name unless you go in and give it special permission. It's a pain in the butt. Basically, I just wanted to say that, look, we have things set up a certain way. Not everything gets through to our end as we're filming these shows. And sometimes we have to take the time to pre-record a session because we know something's up, but we want to try to keep our regular schedule. Because if you don't, social media starts to censor you. It's a pain in the butt, but it's the AI's way of trying to take down bots and fake accounts, just dead accounts in general. So like I said, I wanted to point this out because I do understand the confusion. It can throw you off a little bit if you're not aware. But sometimes if you utilize websites like these, another one is like social media managers, which is website like Hootsuite, HeroPost I use. Sometimes if I put a video out on there that's already pre-recorded, that's obviously recorded, it'll still sometimes show as live. So, thinking of others, I would actually like to thank you for popping in, because it's kind of centered around you a little bit. So, being that I get it. It can be a little confusing sometimes if you're not aware of the setup, if you're not experienced it with yourself. So, we are starting to implement kind of a new step because of this. We're going to start putting the original air dates in the descriptions of the episodes. So that way, it's at least there. You can tell roughly when this certain broadcast come out. With Melon, it lets me hit to most of our channels all at once. So, yes, this is live. Don't worry. See, yes, Drew, don't worry. You do an excellent job. Don't worry. All the episodes are set up and links should be in the description for you to do as you please. Now, also, another thing that was commented with this was the new store, being that there's a link. There wasn't a link initially posted to the site. Once again, I would like to emphasize, as much as I would like to be able to create content, go out on more investigations, sometimes the civilian life has to take precedence. It's what brings in most of the money. Would you hush? It what brings into money to help pay for all this. Because like I said before, I may have to move here soon. I'm having to put a couple of things on hold I want to do moving forward, just to make sure everybody that is affiliated with the company is protected. Now, about that link issue, there is a flow page setup. It's kind of like a link tree, but kind of fancier looking. It's a lot easier to update with that sometimes. And Drew, if you want to share out links, that's up to you. I'm not forcing anybody's hand. We had issues with previous affiliations harassing people because they weren't sharing enough, but guess what? We all have lives we need to take care of first, and that's what I want my people to do. And for those of you who try to say we're not doing so good because you're only looking at one of the channels, we're at like 55 plus. We get on regular 50,000 hits per episode across all the channels. Okay? 50,000. And because of all the platforms we hit, we have an audience reach of 5 million. Okay? We have a reach of 5 million. And because we managed to pull that off, we have some even bigger names that are eyeballing us. You saw the announcement for the May 14th episode that we're going to have Barry Fitzgerald from Ghost Hunters International joining us for an interview. I never thought I'd be able to get to meet him one day. So, and we don't want to just hit the UK. We have growing audiences, India, Japan. We got a few Russians that are starting to come up. I gotta hope they're not the bots that are trying to attack us because we have Ukraine merch. We're also looking into more charity programs to try to help with various different causes. Now, because we're doing stuff like this, we may have to start putting out some warning labels in the intros, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because we do have some controversial guests that are in our crosshairs right now, just because we want to open things up more. We want to engage more different audiences. And considering the Bald and Bonkers network has only officially been running for about 6 months now, we're doing damn good. Plus, we all, like I mentioned on a previous podcast, we have a film distributor that can help us get to Vudu, Gaia, Amazon Prime, all sorts of fun stuff for when we put out the documentary. We also have an audio distributor and book distributor as well. How many of you can say you pulled that off? Now, if you're interested in trying to take on stuff like that for your own little projects and would like to know how we do it, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share. I'm more than happy to share my secrets. Anybody can do this kind of thing. You just got to be willing to put in the work and not act like a stubborn teenager. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say real quick. Let's see. I feel like there's another. I feel like there's another thing I was supposed to bring up. Oh, well, it probably wasn't that important. So, anywho, like I said, I just wanted to come on here, elaborate that a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out some guides so that anybody can follow them and be able to have the same reach as we do, because we also, this can also be hard, but we can also try to hook you up with some resources that will put you at the same level as some of the pros. Because if you try to go through other resources, we're trying to build things organically. If you go try to go to some of those click farms, and there's also streaming services, that's black market level stuff. All these big record labels, all these big companies, they've been known to cheat. There's entire underground operations that are running as we speak that can help boost Facebook subscribers, YouTube subscribers, likes, follows, streams, whatever. We're trying to show that this can be done organically as possible. Yeah, a little money may get tossed in for marketing, but I can also put my people on the side of a billboard here very soon. So we have a lot of amazing opportunities coming up. If you go up to the website, baldandbonkers.net, Drew, I know you've been posting it as .com. Technically, it's .net, but .com works too. I set it up because I kind of expect something like that. You can find all our necessary links there to the store, all of our social media, and maybe catch glimpses of future projects, which will include casting calls for anybody who's willing to join in on the documentary. As far as Bald and Bonkers members, plan on sticking around. You'll get special assignments here very soon just because, well, you're part of the shindig too. Anyway, I do have to get going, so much love. Take care. We'll see y'all this weekend or tonight, whenever they may be.